Let's be honest. When you talk about Ninja Gaiden, the first thing that comes to mind is extreme difficulty. It's a franchise that built its reputation on brutal challenges, precise controls, and of course, many game over screens. When Ninja Gaiden 4 appeared on the horizon, the big question was, could they maintain that identity without seeming dated? Or worse, would they simplify things too much? The essence of Ninja Gaiden is still intact, but Team Ninja made some surprising adjustments. And in my opinion, several of those adjustments are clear improvements. That's why today, we are going to analyze 7 things that Ninja Gaiden 4 frankly does better than the classics of the series. Ninja Gaiden 4 elevates the concept of risk and reward to a new level, creating a system where the greater the risk you take, the greater the rewards you can obtain. I found it simply fascinating how the game challenges you to sacrifice part of your maximum health to gain combat advantages. This isn't just a cheap trick. It's a move that completely changes how you approach each fight. An aspect that caught my attention is the level called Realm of Hell, which literally puts you on the limit of survival, sacrificing up to 75% of your maximum HP. Playing under these conditions brings an adrenaline rush that only Ninja Gaiden can provide. When even the blows that previously seemed small threaten to take you down for good, the challenge becomes much more visceral and exciting. This tactical boldness reminded me of the fiercest classic fights in Ninja Gaiden, but with an extra layer of strategy. You end up thinking twice before attacking, because it can be costly, but the feeling of winning even with this disadvantage is cathartic. It gives immense satisfaction, almost like a test of pure skill. Another point I loved is how this system promotes experimentation and persistence. Even dying several times, you feel that you are not being unjustly punished, because the game makes it clear that any death is the result of a risky choice and that you can learn from every mistake. This keeps the combat fair and rewarding. The experience made me value even more the franchise's balance between brutality and fairness. It's not just difficult for the sake of being difficult, but challenging to make the player constantly surpass themselves. This design philosophy certainly improves engagement and the intensity of the gameplay. In addition, the risk and reward combat profoundly transforms the gameplay flow, allowing different styles, from those who want to play cautiously to those who like to risk it to the limit. It's a choice that grants the player control of their own destiny, something that is rarely so well implemented in the history of action games. This dynamic also gives the series a freshness, bringing a novelty that even veterans will appreciate. Ninja Gaiden 4 not only honors the difficult legacy of the franchise, but advances by incorporating a layer of depth that mixes tension, technique, and emotion in every battle. Another point that really won me over in Ninja Gaiden 4 was the vertical mobility. For me, this sensation of being able to climb walls, jump between surfaces, and move quickly vertically adds enormous freshness to the gameplay, which was already fluid before. Every jump and movement feels more dynamic and connected to the environment. I remember that in previous games this mobility existed, but it seemed a little limited and sometimes even frustrating when attempting more complex movements. Now in the 4th title, the response to commands for climbing, jumping, and clinging to walls is much faster and more precise, which is essential to maintain the series' frantic pace. What really makes a difference is the feeling of freedom. Getting off the ground for aerial combat or to use the scenery to your advantage is something that elevates combat to another level. The verticality opens possibilities for surprise attacks, tactical escapes, and strategic positioning that I previously felt were missing. I also really liked how the grappling hook was incorporated to facilitate this mobility, allowing you to move more fluidly through dangerous situations or reach seemingly inaccessible places. It is not just an accessory, but a natural extension of Yakumo's ninja style. These improvements made battles and exploration much more intense and varied. Combined with the fast and demanding combat of Ninja Gaiden, this creates an almost cinematic rhythm that kept me glued to the screen. You have a new sense of control over the game space. The vertical system reminded me of parkour in modern games, only with the unique brutality and speed of the series. It is playing and feeling as if you are truly in a ninja action game in the 3-dimensional world, jumping from cover to dominate your enemies. Deep down, you can see that this improved mobility connects the gameplay with the game's narrative, as it conveys a greater sense of ninja agility and power, something that is usually only felt in fantasy. But here you play and live it very concretely. The defensive system of Ninja Gaiden 4 is one of the aspects that most shows maturity in the gameplay. I felt that it is not content to just offer a block or dodge button, but rather a set of tools that transform defense into a strategic and active part of combat. One detail that impressed me was the introduction of the Hogeki counterattack in the Bloodraven form. a move that allows you to deflect powerful enemy attacks and even cause stunning. This brought a completely new dynamic where defending doesn't just mean protecting yourself, but also seeking the perfect opportunity to turn the game around. This system creates an interesting dilemma for the player. Stay on the defensive to protect yourself, or gamble on the timing to counterattack and open the enemy's defenses. I liked how this forces the player to read the adversary's behavior, mastering the exact timing to execute these techniques and maximize the damage caused. Another differential is the tactical depth that the defensive system adds. Unlike being a mere quick reaction, it requires learning and practice, but the reward is immense. Masterfully controlling the defense yields that classic feeling of a hard-fought victory, very common in challenging action games. Furthermore, the game balances these defensive mechanics so that combat remains fast and fluid, without falling into the passive and exhausting defense key. Defending and counterattacking became an extension of the aggressive and adrenaline-fueled rhythm characteristic of the series, which really excited me when playing. I thought this evolution is a clear nod to veteran players who seek more depth and control in combat, but also to new players who can get used to the progressive and fair system, benefiting both those who want pure action and those who prefer the technical aspect. The deeper defensive system solidifies Ninja Gaiden 4 as a game where total mastery of combat is fundamental. It's not enough just to attack fast. You need to know when and how to defend, counterattack, and control the battle space, making each fight an intense and gratifying tactical challenge. Real-time weapon swapping is, without a doubt, one of the biggest evolutions that Ninja Gaiden 4 brings to the franchise. When I realized I could switch weapons in the middle of a combo without breaking the flow of the action, I felt that the game finally achieved that creative freedom I always wanted. It's as if each battle becomes a playground where you can express your combat style without artificial limitations. What impressed me most was discovering that this system is not just a cosmetic addition. It explosively expands the scope of combat dynamics. Being able to start a combo with the dual swords, switch to the staff in the middle, and finish with the spear creates infinite possibilities. Each weapon has its weight, its timing, and combining them fluidly is almost an art. This feature was born from the initial development stages, which shows that Team Ninja was truly committed to evolving the experience. It wasn't a last-minute idea. It was conceived to make Ninja Gaiden 4 a complete and modern 3D action game without losing the series' brutal essence. For advanced players, this mechanic opens up a universe of creative possibilities. Combo construction becomes much deeper, where you need to know each weapon, each moveset, and how they connect. It's the type of system that rewards skill and experimentation, and that's exactly what I expect from a Ninja Gaiden. Personally, I love how this makes combat more dynamic and unpredictable. You never feel stuck to a single strategy. There's always room to improvise, adapt, and create unique moments. It's this freedom that transforms every fight into something memorable. Another fascinating aspect is how this system dialogues with Yakumo's arsenal, who possesses 7 different weapons, each one with its blood raven form, each one with its peculiarities. The fluid switching between them is not only useful, it is essential to dominate combat and extract the maximum from the character. Ultimately, real-time weapon swapping solidifies Ninja Gaiden 4 as a hack and slash that understands what modern players seek: fluidity, depth, and creative freedom. It is a natural evolution that respects the past while looking to the future. The evolved skill system of Ninja Gaiden 4 is one of the points that most demonstrates maturity in design. Unlike previous games, where you simply unlocked moves, here there is an organic progression that respects both novices and veterans. It's a delicate balance that few games manage to achieve. The first thing I noticed was how the skills connect with the playstyle. It's not just accumulating techniques, it's building an arsenal that reflects your tactical choices. Each unlocked skill expands your range of options without making the game too easy, maintaining that characteristic challenge of the series. The system also embraces the philosophy of fairness that the developers talk about so much. Dying doesn't feel unfair because you always feel like you could have used a skill better or combined techniques more efficiently. It's a constant learning loop that keeps you engaged. I especially liked how the skills integrate with the Bloodraven forms, creating layers of depth. It's not enough to have the skill. You need to know when and how to use it, especially in critical battle moments. This adds weight to every upgrade choice. Another thing I value is how the game allows multiple progression paths. You can focus on offensive, defensive, or mobility skills, shaping Yakumo to your style. This flexibility is rare in games so focused on challenge like Ninja Gaiden. The evolution is also reflected in the way the skills are presented. There's a training NPC, payphones to make upgrades, all very nostalgic but functional. It's a classic design that works because it respects the player's time. The evolved skill system transforms Ninja Gaiden 4 into an experience where growth and challenge walk together. You are always learning, always evolving, and this keeps the game fresh even after hours of gameplay. The restored gore and brutality in Ninja Gaiden 4 are a direct nod to fans who missed the visceral violence of the first games. When I saw the first trailers showing dismemberment and brutal executions, I knew the series was returning to its rawest roots. It's the type of visual impact that defines the identity of Ninja Gaiden. This design decision is not gratuitous, it serves a narrative and mechanical purpose. The brutality reinforces the lethality of the world, the seriousness of the fights, and the weight of each blow. It is not violence for violence's sake, but a tool that makes every victory more satisfying and visceral. Personally, I always thought the series lost part of its identity when it softened these elements in more recent titles. Seeing the gore back is like meeting an old friend again. You realize how much it was missing. That feeling of really being in a battle of life and death returns with full force. What also pleases me is how the brutality connects with the obliteration techniques. Executing enemies is not only functional, it is spectacular, shocking, and memorable. Each execution feels like a reward for dominating combat, and the gore amplifies that feeling. Furthermore, this aesthetic choice speaks directly to the audience that grew up with Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden New. It is an acknowledgement that those games were special precisely because they were not afraid to be brutal, intense, and uncompromising. The gore also adds weight to boss battles. When you finally defeat a powerful enemy and see the visual result of your effort, the catharsis is immediate. It is the visual reward that complements the feeling of conquest. Restoring the gore and brutality was a brave decision that rescues the soul of the franchise. Ninja Gaiden 4 is not afraid to be what it always was, a brutal, challenging, and unapologetic game. The cooperation between Team Ninja and Platinum Games is, without a doubt, one of the most exciting factors behind Ninja Gaiden 4. Bringing together two legendary hack-and-slash developers is like uniting masters of the same dojo. Each one brings its expertise and unique philosophy to create something special. What fascinates me most about this partnership is how each studio complements the other. Team Ninja brings the brutal and technical DNA of Ninja Gaiden, while Platinum Games adds that dynamic and cinematic style we saw in Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising. It's a perfect fusion. This collaboration also ensures that the game doesn't get stuck in the past. Platinum Games has experience in modernizing the genre without losing the essence, and this shines through in mechanics such as real-time weapon swapping and fluid combat. It is innovation with respect for tradition. Another important aspect is the credibility that this partnership brings. Both developers have a proven track record in creating high-quality action games. Knowing that Ninja Gaiden 4 is in the hands of these teams gives enormous confidence in the final result. Personally, I see this cooperation as a sign that the industry still values experience and passion for the genre. Not just any studio can make a Ninja Gaiden, you need to understand the rhythm, the difficulty, and the soul of the series. And these two companies understand. The synergy between Team Ninja and Platinum Games is also reflected in the attention to detail. From combat design to art direction, everything seems carefully thought out to honor the legacy while advancing the franchise for a new generation. In the end, this significant cooperation in development is the guarantee that Ninja Gaiden 4 is not just another game. It is a passion project for the genre, made by those who truly understand what makes a hack and slash great. Well, that was the video. I hope you liked it and see you next time.